Startup Podcast PH is co-produced by One CFO, Credit Hero, Y Spaces, Tuala, Simp, Sekuna, Schooltech Bedfolio, and Red Circle Global. Check out our partners in the description.
Welcome sa Startup Podcast PH, inspiring more Filipino entrepreneurs and innovators. We're live now here in Makati. And
Yay.
we have Bambu Digital, a top-tier digital marketing agency in the Philippines that has helped companies such as Sunnies Studios, BYD Philippines, and The Good Meat achieve not just reach and aesthetics, but actual revenue growth. And we have the founder, Alex Kaplan. Hello, Alex.
Hey
Kamusta?
guys,
Kamusta?
hi. I'm good, doing well today. It's been a long week, but we're almost done with hump day here. So yeah, all good. Thanks for having me on today.
It's actually a surprise, no? I mean, Alex kind of looks like a foreigner. Well,
A
it's
white
actually,
dude.
it's actually a foreigner, but he can actually speak Tagalog because he's been in the Philippines since...
Well, I'm born and raised in Hong Kong,
I see.
but then my parents had a place in Cebu
Oh.
when I was growing up as a kid.
Oh.
I'm born 92.
We're the same. Wow.
Yeah, cool. Good year of the monkey. But so they had a property in Cebu. I think they got it in 93.
Mm.
And then, so I spent a lot of my childhood going back and forth from Cebu to Hong Kong. And then when SARS happened, I ended up relocating to Cebu for a bit because Hong Kong was all closed down. My school closed down. So my parents had to figure out a way to get me into school and just get away from Hong Kong. And Cebu was only an hour and a half flight. And we have a lot of friends there and nice setup there. So that's when I spent a lot of time in Cebu. And then after that, moved to England, went to boarding school there from the age of 11 to 18. Then studied in Boston for university. Then went back to London for a master's, and then I worked there at different WPP-owned agencies for some time, and then came back to the Philippines and got stuck here during COVID. So two pandemics got me kind of stuck in the Philippines, and then
But
never left.
you came here before the pandemic. So I'll ask that question.
yeah.
Why did you go back to the Philippines?
Honestly, it was sort of to build a network and to kind of just, I don't know. To be honest, it's actually a friend of mine. He probably doesn't know this, but he's a guy that I've known since I was 1 year old, living in Hong Kong. And he was actually living here working for a real estate company. And I saw when I was in my office in London, in my previous life, and I saw his Facebook status update change to, move to Manila, Philippines. And I saw that and it really hit me. And I thought, man, this guy's done it. He's gone to Manila. Like that sounds awesome. Like I need to do that. I kind of wanted a big change in my life. But I actually moved to Bangkok and then I set up the business there, but I found it really difficult in Thailand, mainly due to language barrier issues. And then I already had like a big network of friends from Cebu who'd moved to Manila. My business partner here, he's also, he's from Cebu. And, it just kind of made sense. It was sort of coming to just rekindle old relationships and just to check out the place, and ended up, staying, and I really love it here.
So you started a company. I mean, you started Bambu Digital when you're in the Philippines, right?
Yeah, exactly. But so there are kind of two sides to it. So we technically started, I used to have a business partner based out of London. We used to both work together at one of the WPP agencies. And we actually left around the same time, started Bamboo together. And then I told him I'm moving out to Asia to kind of start something out here. And he stayed in the UK, and we kind of did that for about 5 years. But it was once I was out in the Philippines, we wanted to, we had some partners and we wanted to start the business here as well and work with clients locally and, provide our like value adds, our knowledge, our experience to different businesses here to help them grow and succeed. So it kind of started in the UK first and then sort of was established here soon after.
Before I ask about Bambu Digital and what it's doing actually, what did you study? Or like, why go to this niche like marketing or helping businesses grow?
Yeah, so I actually studied music.
Oh, wow.
So something very, very, very different from marketing. And then when I was doing so at my university in Boston, you had to take I think it was at least 2 internships. So I did I think maybe you could have done one, but I remember it was like 2 6-month internships. So one of the internships that I did was working at a music publisher in London, and that was kind of related to licensing music for media. So a lot of like licensing music for movies, advertisements, and that kind of first introduced me to sort of music supervision in a way of like placing music in films and adverts, and I quite like that. And then another one was in India. So I worked in Mumbai for a bit in a recording studio there, making Bollywood film music and advertisement jingles for brands like BlackBerry when it was a thing, Vodafone. This was back in 2012. And I remember we were creating a jingle for a soap company. And, you know, it's quite around. Yeah, the company was, I think it's called Synthol. And the ad's still on YouTube today, I think. And there were 2 guys that walked into the recording studio, sat down on the couch. They were wearing these suits. They looked kind of cool. And I thought, you know, I was sitting there with the music director and he was playing them the jingle, you know, and they kind of gave their feedback and then they kind of got up and left. And I thought to myself, like, who are these guys? What do they do? And then my friend said, they're from the ad agency. And that's when I thought, like, interesting. Like, I quite like the advertising side. I quite like the music side. Whatever they're doing sounds awesome. So then I tried to apply for different advertising agencies in London, but I did an internship at one, didn't get accepted by any creative agencies. And then I ended up meeting the CEO of Group M for the UK in a pub. That's also really important if you have a startup. Always get out and show your face and meet people. It doesn't have to be in a bar, but like get out and show your face.
Here in Makati, you can do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Makati, BGC, these places. But yeah, so I met him in the pub and he was the CEO of Group M at the time. And he said, you know, forget the creative agencies, like media is where it's at. You should learn about media and like digital marketing and kind of what's, you know, what was becoming a big thing at the time, which was Facebook ads, Google ads, all that kind of stuff. So he sort of helped shape my career and was the first person to kind of direct me to a media agency. And that's kind of how I went from studying music into that. But what I did forget to say is after I graduated, because I wanted to go into advertising and marketing, I did a master's at a business school in London.
Business school.
Yeah, it used to be called Cass Business School, but I think they got cancelled, the name, and they call it now Bayes Business School. And yeah, so it's that was an interesting year, taught me a lot. But I think the most I ever learned was actually working. If I could go back in time, I'd do things a bit different. But yeah, actually hands-on job experience is what taught me the most, for sure.
But it's actually interesting. Music actually led you to advertising and marketing, and then because you were exposed to that world, you dove deeper, and then you wanted to learn more about that. So you dove deeper, and then now you have this digital marketing agency. So now let me ask you, Alex. So ano nga ba ang Bambu Digital? What is Bambu Digital?
So there's a lot of different names people have for this, but I position us as a marketing consultancy that focuses specifically on retail and consumer goods brands. A lot of
not
what
music.
we do, not music, not music. A lot of what we do is essentially working with retail companies here, also working with any consumer goods brands that essentially is trying to market their product specifically online. Other people have the term growth marketing agency, performance marketing agency. We don't just do performance marketing. We don't just do growth marketing. We do a lot of different things, but to enable retail and consumer goods brands to grow, whether that's on TikTok Shop, Shopee, Lazada, their .com, helping them build a .com if they don't have one. But most of what we do is sort of in the realm of e-commerce, essentially, but more on the marketing side.
Oh,
versus fulfillment and all that other stuff.
Still filling out loan applications for your business? Yeah, thought so. Save your time. Grow your business. With Credit Hero, one online application gets you loan offers from multiple lenders. Apply for a business loan now. Visit credithero.com.
Now I'm pretty sure this episode will be up in the charts of Startup Podcast. Why? Because actually, for some reason, our top episodes are those which have growth marketing in the title. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Maybe a lot of startup founders, a lot of freelancers maybe search for that.
Yeah.
But I think that's what I'll ask you about the most in this.
Yeah.
Because when I for example digital marketing, it's actually I think a very broad space. You have the art, right? The design, the those who create posters for Facebook, for LinkedIn, whatever. And then there's the part where you generate leads. You generate leads. You match the business to the market, etc. And then I think there's another third, or maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. The part wherein you actually get sales or actually get the growth in revenue. So what exactly is Bamboo covering? Or is it like the whole, like when you work with a company, is it really like the whole thing?
Yeah, it really depends on what the client needs, and what we help guide them on what they do need. But yeah, it can start. We basically help with building the foundations. So some businesses that we've worked with, they don't even have a website. They'll just have, like in the Philippines, it's quite common to just have a Facebook page. Like that's really common here. So what we'll do is
it's free.
Yeah, it's free. And I think that's actually one of my LinkedIn posts coming up is about how the telcos offered Messenger for free, which helped like really boost Messenger and Facebook's adoption here. But yeah, it's just to jump back to it. Like we help from building the foundations, which is like building your website, making sure your website's optimized so that it can be found in, search engines, which include Google, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, all the AI platforms, all of that. And then also on the campaign creation side. So if you're a business, let's say like Yamaha, who we work with, they want to launch a new product or they want to launch an update of a new product. We can help with the campaign plan, what that creative execution is going to look like, what the big idea is like, all the way through to production, and then all the way through to media buying and placing those placements in Facebook ads, TikTok ads, Google ads, YouTube ads, whatever it may be. So it really does cover the full spectrum.
Yeah.
There's a new component that's sort of become big in recent years, which is more from the rise of TikTok, I'd say. TikTok's become huge in the Philippines. I think it's like 26% of their global revenue of TikTok shop revenue comes from the Philippines alone.
Oh.
Some stat that I heard. You might need to fact check that one, but I'm pretty sure I heard that the other day, or read about that. But yeah, it's like that has also, caused new agencies in the Philippines to pop up all over the place. And they, will focus on, and what we help support on is things like live selling, affiliate marketing, all that kind of stuff. So there's so many things that, we can offer to our different clients that come our way. It really and we have the team to do it. It just really matters, what do they actually need that's going to help them get those incremental benefits to the business in the shortest possible time. Spending loads of money on straight away doing like live selling, for example, isn't going to be the most profitable for a small retail business. But there's certain things that we kind of, our approach is we always understand the business first and then go into recommending what they will need instead of just pitching services that they really don't actually need.
Yeah, so it's actually like a partnership, right? Like it's a whole collaboration with a company. Like, and it can actually be more than one project. Like for example, you're really with them. For example, you strategize with them. I mean, when they go to you, you strategize with them. You formulate the strategy, and then you need a website because it can increase your reach, your revenues. We do that for you. You want to launch a product, we'll do that for you. And now that I think about it, maybe those TikTok shops that I see, they're actually like usually outsourced, like not from the company itself, right? So they usually have an agency like you do that.
Yeah. It's a bit of a mix. Honestly, I think if I'm a company if I have my own business selling any product or good, I wouldn't outsource it. I would do it myself. That's actually what a lot of businesses we work with do. And it's a lot more cost efficient. It's a huge operation and you need someone to like effectively manage it. Some businesses, they're selling live 24/7, which is just, for me, that's nuts. But, as long as you're doing it for at least 5 hours a day is what TikTok recommends. That's kind of the sweet spot but it's always going to go up and up and up. And eventually most people will be doing 12 to 24 hours of live selling. But I always recommend like do it yourself. Like you just need the space, you just need the studio, a green screen. You just need the ops in place and the hosts to like properly communicate your product. If you're outsourcing that, you're really outsourcing like how other people talk about your products and talk about your brand. So that's why like I'm always like a bit hesitant to push that, but more like guide on, you guys should have this set up yourself. This is what we recommend. When it comes to like affiliates outreach, sure, that's not a problem. Like we can help with that, and other things like managing their campaigns through their TikTok shop, like GMV Max campaigns. That's something we guide them on as well and do for them. But yeah, that's always like a tricky one, because it's hard to, as a business owner, it's hard to outsource something which you don't have like stringent control over, and a couple of mistakes can tarnish your brand, and that's what people don't typically want.
And by the way, I'm really very curious about this. You mentioned earlier that somehow Bambu, you're dealing with consumer brands, like those companies. Yeah. Why? I mean, you could have gone with like we call this in the startup world B2B and B2C and B2G, whatever. It's like you're in the B2C space. I mean, you're covering those consumer brands. So is there a specific reason why you chose that for the company, for your niche? Yeah.
Because I'm a little bit crazy, I think. I don't know. It's like,
and I think it's harder.
It's the thing is like B2B marketing. Don't get me wrong. Like we do our own marketing for Bambu. Like we're today having this conversation, doing events, speaking at conferences, doing webinars, lead magnets, all that stuff, all the automations that flow after, capturing a lead through a Facebook ad, LinkedIn ad, Google ad, all that stuff. Like it's a lot more straightforward, I think, personally, than doing the B2C side, or the consumer marketing side, or the direct-to-consumer side, whatever you want to call it. Because on the D2C side, it's so much more fragmented. They're like, with B2B marketing, there's certain places you can gather leads from, right? With D2C marketing, it's not as, I'd say it's like not as linear. Like someone can get exposed to a Facebook ad, then they can go browse the product on Shopee, then they'll go see on TikTok Live, see the shop. How do you track all of that? How do you attribute your investment to like what the actual like outcome, like which channel actually drove the desired outcome of closing that sale? It's impossible to answer that question, to be honest, but it's just so fragmented on the direct to consumer side, especially in the Philippines, where you have so many different sales channels. Like in the US or in the UK, it's like .com and Amazon. That's pretty much where most of it happens. Here you've got like Shopee, Lazada, TikTok Shop, .com, sometimes like Zalora or other companies. I remember like Beauty Manila was one as well. But other marketplaces, there's so many points of sale online here. Even your own Facebook page. Someone the other day said most of their sales comes from their Facebook page, which kind of blew me away. But like I don't know why I picked it. I think it was just by like, from my past experience. I think when I was working in WPP, like at the different agencies there, everything that I was doing initially was what they called it demand generation. At least the main client that I worked on, they called it the DemGen team. Really, it was like performance marketing or bottom of the funnel marketing, whatever you want to call it. But in the end, it was very much like, planning campaigns, running campaigns with the direct outcome of driving a consumer sale. Then I kind of got onto the branding side and the brand sort of advertising side, which was more on, big brand campaigns. You're not trying to sell any product, but you're just trying to build brand love and that sort of thing. So the full other end of the spectrum. But I think I've always gravitated towards that sort of, performance related outcome in marketing. And I think that a lot of businesses in Asia Pacific, specifically Philippines as well, there was an article by Work that said there's an overinvestment in performance marketing, which I do kind of agree with. But I definitely think that it's something that, I don't know, I've always gravitated towards because I don't want to say I'm used to it, but it's like, it's what I've been doing for a really long time and where I've mastered my craft. And yeah, I think it really adds a lot of value to specifically SMEs who are just kind of going into marketing and need support with marketing and aren't going to be spending on massive brand campaigns.
Yeah.
So it's a niche that kind of works for us. Yeah.
Or maybe because of music. Because in
Yeah.
music, because
Yeah.
and in music, you directly go to the soul or to the hearts of
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
So-
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, kind of speaking about that, and maybe how you actually became successful or like help these companies become successful. What do you think is the secret sauce? Or like, I mean, admittedly, there are many digital marketing agencies, growth marketing agencies. Not quite, but there are quite. I mean, there are quite a lot in the Philippines.
Yeah.
What do you think separates you or like makes you stand out? And even in the first place, how did you like? Why did these companies, Yamaha, BYD Philippines, go with you? And then what's the secret sauce on how you help them?
Yeah. No, it's a good question. The problem with what we do, and if you have, there's two sides of the coin. I'll just answer bit by bit. So the first thing I want to say is the barrier to entry to start a marketing company is very low. There's a lot of people out there who will watch a couple of YouTube videos, go through ChatGPT. I'm seeing it with some clients now who believe that they're the expert by just going through some prompts on ChatGPT to challenge you. But the reality is like the barrier to entry is quite low, and the startup capital that you need is basically nothing. Like I remember my business partner and I, we started Bambu with like in the UK with £1 each, which is like 80 pesos each. In the Philippines, it's a bit different because the requirements are different. But yeah, so the barrier to entry is so low that, especially like it's saturated here, it's exceptionally saturated in the US, in the UK, in Australia, these places. So it does make it really difficult to acquire clients. I think the way that we've been able to acquire clients, and we haven't had anyone who's worked in a sales role or a marketing role. Like we've had, actually, that's not true. We've had like a few people who've come for like a few months and then left, but we've never done like heavy sales and marketing. So pretty much, and I think that's the way the Philippines kind of operates as well, is like everything is done based on your personal network and referrals. At least that's what I found. Sure, there's some website leads that come in through SEO. There's some leads that come in through events that we go to and go for networking. Like that is important to do, those kind of outbound sort of those marketing activities, I guess. But like I would say the way that we were able to acquire these clients was just by, personal network. Like I said, getting out there, showing your face, meeting people. And then when someone needs someone who has a specific expertise, they can refer you. And then you just go above and beyond and over deliver on everything and just go like 150%, like just go ham, and give the best possible service you can. And that's why I've always been obsessed with not just like acquiring new clients over and over again, but actually like giving our clients, or we refer to them as partners, actually like giving our partners like the best possible service that they can get for what they want, and getting them the results. And by doing that, we've retained, most of our clients have high retention. I think there's a few clients, like even Sunnies, we've been working with them about 5 years now. There's a few others as well that have been like long-term clients, really, long-term partners of ours. So it's like, yeah, I think going above and beyond, and it's very common in the Philippines, I've found, and if one of our account managers is listening to this, she'll know. But like, I find like a lot of, and I should do this more, but a lot of, because we're in a service business, right? We're providing professional service essentially, and the service level agreement and the deliverables kind of dictates what you do. My approach is to kind of bend those a little bit. And that's when the clients feel like they're getting a lot of value. If a client asks for something and you turn around to them and say, no, it's not in the agreement. This is not in the agreement. You're going to have to pay for this. Okay, if it's a massive out of scope project, then sure. But it does take that sort of like emotional intelligence and being able to read people and being able to understand what's the actual impact on my business to say, yeah, that's no problem. We'll do that. That's all good. Maybe you could say it's not included, but we're happy to do it. And I had a phone call earlier with someone who literally was grateful for us going above and beyond on certain things. like throwing in a free shoot or something like that, which some people might go, you're crazy, but it adds long-term impact. And then the referrals come as well. And that, like, some of our top clients have been our best referrers for new business. So I think that's kind of how we grew. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Just getting your head down and doing a good job, going above and beyond.
I have a lot of things to say about this. Firstly, I think that's really what sets you apart. Like, somehow service that is not really uncompromising, but like, yeah, going beyond. Because some people might hate me for this, but when I see other marketing agencies, digital marketing agencies specifically, there there's kind of a, sorry to say this, like a performative, like they just do the posters. They just,
Yeah.
I mean, like they get a client and then they just get the posters. They just make the posters. Sometimes do it with AI and then schedule it on their Facebook and LinkedIn, and then report the engagement. But that's it. I think one other thing that sets Bambu apart is you're actually collaborating with the revenue, right? You
Yeah.
make sure.
Yeah.
I mean, for sure, Sunnies is with you since 5 years ago because you help them increase their revenues. You help them not just get exposure, not just have aesthetic posters, but actually grow their revenue, right? What do you think about that?
Yeah. I think that's what kind of gravitated me towards this niche and this line of business as well, is because like business owners and the C-suite level, they tie everything back to what's their revenue and especially what's their profit, right? What's the bottom line? So from what we do, everything is trackable. The attribution bit I explained earlier, that's a whole nother kind of worms. But like at the end of the day, you can measure like money in, money out. And that is what essentially helps you scale. So if you spend 100,000 pesos on some ads, and you acquire X amount of new customers who came through that specific ad and purchased from, say, your Shopee store, 1,000,000 pesos worth of goods, right? You have 1 million in revenue from 100 in, that's a 10x return. Clients like to see that. Like partners, like the business owner or the head of marketing or the whoever is in that kind of C-suite role wants to see those hard numbers and see what's going in, what's going out. And I think that also holds us accountable as well to make sure that we are delivering and everything's going well.
I remember what V here wrote in the email on what this episode could be like really all about. It's something like, I forgot the exact words, but it's something like how to build a big business with a small team. So would you say this somehow, these are some buzzwords now, fractional CFO, fractional CFO, I mean fractional chief financial officer, or fractional CTO, fractional chief technology officer. You don't have to like hire an in-house team, rather outsource or like get service from some other company. Now I see this as a fractional CMO or like fractional chief marketing officer, like that C-level of marketing or that big team of marketing. Instead of hiring in-house, they have another company who's actually have, I mean, you have a lot of expertise already, especially in the Philippine market. So they just outsource it to you. What do you think about? I mean, do you think you're kind of doing that model, or what do you think?
Not necessarily. It's something I've thought of quite a bit lately, but it depends who we're working with really. Like some partners we work with, they really want me in the room and to meet with them and to have the face-to-face and to be there guiding and supporting. That I would say is more on the consulting kind of fractional CMO sort of side. I honestly don't see the fractional CMO role working for bigger businesses. I see that working maybe for startups, for smaller companies that just want someone to do like a few hours a week, or maybe like 2 days a week, just supporting them. Maybe it's someone who's just come off maternity leave and they're looking for some part-time work. But I'm not a true believer in that sort of fractional CMO role. I get it for smaller businesses that are on a budget like us. Like we don't want to hire a CFO. Like we can't afford that. It's like way too much. So I would go to our accountant, who's great, who's the lead accountant, and I'd say, hey, can you be our fractional CFO if you have the time for it, because there's only so much time as well that people have. And I know this from, having different partners that we work with. You get pulled in a lot of different directions, and it's being able to understand okay, well, is that role even needed? Is that something you should actually hire for? I would ask all these questions or look at all these questions before approaching something like that. So to go back to the question, I'd say no, we're not a fractional CMO. We kind of come in more, I guess, to give the guidance, but then can also execute.
Yeah.
But we won't be someone who's fighting for budget internally to run a marketing campaign, that sort of thing. That's, we don't. Someone said this to me the other day, insourcing, it's not really like what we do. Although we do embed ourselves within the business, we're typically coming in and setting up systems and processes to help deliver on sales growth, essentially.
Yeah, it's really in the execution, right?
Yeah. And a lot of businesses, they can come to us, at least 5 years ago, the big thing was we can't do media buying. Media buying takes a lot of time and it's super intense. So can you just go and do that? And then AI kind of came in and people started especially not just ChatGPT and tools like that, but the ad platforms started becoming a lot more advanced in terms of their targeting. So setting up a Facebook ads campaign today is way, way easier. Some people might disagree, but it is way easier than 10 years ago. When it was an absolute nightmare. There was a tool called Power Editor and it was very clunky. You used to also have to upload Excel sheets into Facebook Ads Manager and do it that way. But it's now a lot more streamlined, like what Google does with PMax, what TikTok does with GMV Max, marketplace ads. A lot of that kind of can get a little bit automated now. But where the value comes from that, I know is really the strategy and giving the direction, and then kind of leading that direction and that execution, and keeping that kind of all under one roof. AI was kind of a big thing where people thought, oh, we don't need content teams anymore as well. But the reality is you still kind of do. There's a bit of backlash with AI generated content as well, especially in the Philippines, I find. So it's a tough one there, but people still come to us for just strict implementation. We don't need strategy. We'll give you the strategy. We just want you to create the social media content, create the ads, run the ads, report on it. And that's fine. We can do that. It's kind of like a back office or an outsourced unit. Or we come on as this partner who guides on strategy and direction. Yeah.
And you not really target, but you get partners who are big companies, right? Or do you also do this with startups or maybe scale ups or those startups that have grown?
We used to more. So in the beginning, we worked with a lot of smaller businesses that were starting up. But then what I found from a business standpoint, it's nice to grow a business and to see hey, we've helped you with your marketing, your sales increase. I think there was one partner we're working with. They're not a startup, but they're, maybe they're not a startup. They're actually the distributors of a Japanese brand here in the Philippines. That provide office stationery. And it's one of the largest office stationery producers in the world, but they weren't doing any e-com before. And then when we came on, they were able to see year on year, 80% growth, X amount of growth, kept going year on year. And that's rewarding to see that. Sometimes with a startup, I think this comes back to a question you asked before about what's important doing all this activity. But what's really important is a business having a really strong brand behind it. So Sunnies, for example, they have an incredibly strong brand, and no doubt that's going to help with your performance marketing or your growth marketing or whatever you want to call it. But, businesses that have no brand at all and no brand presence and don't do any branding, it's a lot harder to work with those and get their campaigns off the ground and running. I think also budget-wise, our services are a premium service. So what we've done is we've kind of, we do work with more kind of enterprise level businesses at this stage, but we still do have a team that's dedicated to SMEs, and they're used to working with the size of those budgets. They're used to working with strategies that work for those specific business sizes, and it's a less tailored partnership. I don't want to call it cookie cutter or anything like that, but it's not as bespoke as like say working with an enterprise level client. Yeah.
Have you rejected a potential partner? I mean, like, because it's not a fit. It's not a fit for what you do.
Yeah.
Has there been cases like that, or you just accept all?
So there have been times when I've kind of realized that it's too much headache for us, and it's more on personalities. I think like certain personalities that we're working with, where I've had the team having some turnover, the team having like calling sick, and really it's like a specific personality problem with a partner that we're working with.
I know what you mean.
And in that, I'm sure everyone knows what I'm talking about here, but like when that happens, it's kind of like, okay, we'll do the rest of our work that we're contracted to do with you, and then we're just not gonna pursue working with you anymore after that. I think the only time when we don't work with a partner is when, sometimes they'll say, oh, can you just work purely based on performance? That's not possible because we have our own payroll to take care of. So there has to be some kind of base cost involved or base level investment for us. But usually it might be that some businesses we've even presented proposals for, but through talking with them, it's just like they're too early stage that they don't, like, even if they have the investment to put into it, it's like you're so early stage that you're kind of jumping ahead too quickly.
Yeah.
You should build your own kind of skeletal team first, get things moving, and then we can come in.
I know what that means. Those are like, no, I people will hit me for this again. Like, there are some startups who, to be fair, create a product, haven't sold even at least once.
Yeah.
Then they hire like a marketing agency to get that first sale. I don't think that's the correct way.
I wouldn't do that. No, I would not do that. I definitely think you need like a baseline already
before
you start going out and talking to marketing agencies. There's a lot of people I've spoken to who, not just in the Philippines, but all over the world, where they basically said, we're looking for a marketing company to come in and help us with getting UGC ads, doing our customer acquisition campaigns, and this and this and this. And it's like a guy in his bedroom in university, and I'm kind of like, and he's like, I've saved up for months to do this, and I'm just thinking, the guy like, calm down, build your own team first. You don't need to pay a marketing company for this. This is something that you should be doing yourself to get things rolling. Yeah. And then if you actually have like cash flow to reinvest into marketing, then yes, we can probably come in and support on that. But yeah.
But for these companies, who already have some baseline, do they set targets for you? Like, hey Alex, or hey Bambu, you should we're gonna hire you, we're gonna get your services, you should reach these targets. Like, is there something like that?
Yeah, so sometimes it depends. Usually we get monthly sales targets that we're trying to hit. And obviously, like, the paid acquisition side has to drive an incremental uplift on that and to reach your target. So we do get sales targets, usually straight from the brief. I'll ask them that. I'll try and get that information out of them so I have something to revert back to. Some people say, we want, 100% growth year on year. And it's like, okay. It's one thing to say it, but then to be realistic is quite difficult. But we help also with forecasting and things like that to guide them on, is this a realistic number or is this not a realistic number? Because so many things impact that revenue generation. Like even now, the fuel crisis. So many businesses that had these really punchy targets for, this quarter or this year has been hampered because consumer spending is actually going down. And that's all driven by higher cost of living based off fuel prices going up, right? So, you have to be realistic as well. And you have to also not be afraid to tell the business owner, tell the team that you're working with, like, this is not realistic. But in larger companies, it's very hard to do that. But it's definitely something that we do work with, and we do get benchmarked against targets. Yeah.
Trust the digital future with Twala. Secure and tamper-proof digital signature. Electronic notarization service. And custom AI agents for intelligent document workflows. Visit twala.io to learn more. In today's digital world, your organization needs more than just technology. It needs a strategic partner. At Symph, we build web and mobile apps that drive innovation for startups, enterprises, and organizations worldwide. Visit symph.co today.
Protect your assets from bugs before bad hackers exploit them. And launch your products seamlessly with Secuna, your trusted partner in cybersecurity. Receive reports in real time and work with security experts to find bugs in your products before others do. Let's make your security our priority.
Yeah. Now I want to ask about the people, because I think, I'm not that sure, but maybe one of the key, or like somehow what makes the secret sauce of Bambu is also the people as an
For sure.
agency.
Yeah.
First of all, is the whole team Filipino aside from like you or?
Yeah. All our guys are based in the Philippines.
Oh.
We used to have so previously I was with a business partner of mine based in the UK, and we had a team there in the UK as well. But now it's all Philippines based.
Okay.
So yeah, all our team is based in the Philippines. That's how I'm slowly picking up Tagalog as well. But yeah, everyone's based here. Everyone's based in predominantly Metro Manila, Cavite, and then we have someone in Bohol as well, and
so
someone in Cebu. So kind of all over.
They can work
Yeah.
remotely. Right?
Yeah, so we're actually quite different to a lot of companies here, where we have a hybrid setup.
Okay.
And when I say hybrid, I mean 1 day a week from the office.
Yeah.
So yeah, every Thursday,
Oh.
the guys come into the office, and
Tomorrow.
yeah, tomorrow. So basically, everyone else. It's actually really hard to build a culture working
Yeah.
fully remote.
yeah.
But for a lot of these more technical roles, like if you're a media buyer or a web developer or an SEO strategist or SEO implementation person, or someone who creates content, you don't really need to be in the office to do that. Like, you can still do your work from home, but it's just hard managing the output and checking in on like team morale, workload. Sure, there's Teams or Slack, you can do all the communication there, but it's really difficult to build a culture fully remotely. So I don't know how long that will last, but for now, that's kind of how it's been since COVID.
Speaking about culture, because currently I'm reading the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Oh yeah,
And the second habit, I'm the second habit, is to start with a vision. I mean, write your mission statement. So
Yeah.
does Bamboo House have a vision or a mission statement? Because I think even if people are working remotely, even if your team is working, remotely, hybrid, just goes to the office once a week. If you have, I'm not sure, if you have a mission, like a written, concrete mission of who Bamboo is and wants to be, that can somehow be like the how your team decides, how your team functions, even without directly managing them day to day. Like
Yeah.
when they talk to their client, to their account, for example, that mission guides them. So they have that for Bamboo.
yeah. So actually, if you look
Oh.
behind on that tray,
Oh,
the second you can pull it out actually if you want.
sorry,
this-
this one.
In the tray, on the right, there's 2 pieces. Yeah, you got it.
Wow,
So-
we're getting some company files.
Yeah. So this is our
Oh.
Yeah, so this is our, I forgot what it's called now. Sorry, the Vision Traction Organizer. So I did the entrepreneurs organization. So there's a group here called EO, and then they did the EO Accelerator, and that's a 2-year kind of course,
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
will, where you have a team of a group you're in, and we traveled all over. I got to go to Zamboanga, Davao, all over the place, and a lot of leading business people in the Philippines are in EO. There's a Manila chapter and
I think I know,
a South
yeah,
chapter as well. And you do the EO Accelerator, and then if you complete that and you hit the revenue target, then you get to graduate to EO and join that as well. But essentially, what they talk about in EO is, in what they call EOS, the entrepreneurial operating system. It's sort of dictated by this book called Traction by a guy called Gino Wickman. I've used this kind of as a sort of guiding framework to run the business. You can pay for people to come in and like set it up for you and implement for you. I've kind of done this sort of ad hoc self-implementation. But essentially what you do here is you have your core values, you have your core focus, you have your 10-year target, your marketing strategy,
Oh,
your
I
3-year
see.
picture, your 1-year plan, your rocks, which everyone gets quarterly rocks basically, which is supposed to drive the business forward, and then your issues list.
Oh.
And then every week you kind of review this through an L10 meeting, which they call it. But then there's monthly reviews, quarterly reviews where you really dive into this. But yeah, to answer your question, we've got here, it's not, so in here, they don't call it a vision or a mission, but they refer to it as a core focus. And what we've said here is it's supposed to be a purpose, a cause, or a passion. And what we've put is driving growth beyond transactions for retail and consumer goods brands through impactful digital marketing.
Oh.
So it kind of calls out the niche as well, but focuses on what our purpose.
And I like beyond transactions.
Yeah. It's like everything is just so transactional nowadays.
Yeah.
People's attention span is so low. But yeah, I find like really what we're doing is we're giving value, added value to the businesses that we partner with to help them achieve things that they wouldn't have otherwise been able to do. But yeah, it's not like, and that's the other thing I mentioned earlier is our engagements and our partnerships aren't just transactional. And there's a lot of marketing agencies out there that have very transactional relationships. They come in, here's the contract, here are the deliverables, here's the cadence of meetings, boom, boom, boom. That's a good baseline, but I think it helps a lot if you approach it more as like, you know, if it's commercially viable, like we can help go beyond that sort of transactional relationship.
Let's go back a bit.
Yeah.
When you first started the company 5 years ago, right? 5 years ago. So
Yeah, technically. Technically, it was 2019.
That 2019. Okay.
But 2020 is when we set up in the UK, and then 2021
in the Philippines.
here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because what I noticed in some startups, or maybe this is just for tech startups, I'm not sure. Of course, as a startup, you don't have much capital. You don't have a product yet. Or you might have a product or a service, but it's not yet fit to the market, something like that. And because of that, you still don't have a vision or a mission. So what I want to ask is, so when you started, was that the same? Like you just wanted to do growth marketing for companies, and then later on you found the niche of having, focusing on like big consumer brands. And then it's only now that you have formed the vision. I mean, because part of the journey of building a startup is not just building the product, but building the organization, the team. So how was it for Bambu? Yeah.
So to be honest, like I didn't know any of this stuff when I was starting out. The real reason I think why I initially got into this was from just because I didn't want to work in a corporate job anymore. I was so tired of it. And I just felt like, for me, it was like I looked at my boss's boss and my boss's boss's boss and my boss's 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 boss and their boss. And I kind of looked at like, it was just so predictable. Like, okay, if I stay in London, work in marketing, advertising, media, it's going to go this way or this way. Or it's very predictable. I wanted a big change as well. And I wanted to do something a bit more risky and more, I just kind of threw myself into it. And I had all these skills, which I acquired, yes, from my life experiences, my education, my work previously. And I knew that I could apply these skills immediately to kind of, you know, everyone has bills to pay and whatnot. So this is what I could use to kind of help facilitate that. The reality is we did not have any mission or vision before starting the company. It definitely came later. I think it was more like, we know how to do this really well.
Yeah.
Let's help companies do this really well.
Yeah.
And we did that. And then later it was kind of, as we sort of grew a bit, it was oh, like, why are we actually doing this? Like what? And then I did EOA, which was great. And that taught me all this stuff, basically. Like what are core values? I kind of heard about core values, but I didn't actually like understand why they're important, why they're so important for the company. And then having that vision there as well is incredibly important because that's what helps formulate like the culture as well at the end of the day. So yeah, the blunt answer is like, we definitely did not have that in the beginning. And I don't think, I guess some people might have that, but I feel like a lot of people have an idea and it just starts with that idea. And then this kind of stuff sort of is formulated later. At least that's my take on it.
Yes.
That's my take on it.
But yeah, and What I want to ask, how was your first hire? I mean, your first hire was a Filipino, right? And also, when you, for example, you got a partnership with a company. Did you already in the first place? Did you do it by yourself, or you already hired a Filipino team?
So
here?
I did it by myself initially.
Okay.
A lot of the work in the beginning was just like essentially like I call it a consultant. People call it a contractor. Some people call it a freelancer. But really, I was just consulting and helping with the implementation and the setup and things like that. And then it kind of grew to the point when it was like, okay, we need some help. And we had people who still work with us today that we brought on board, but as a contractor or as a freelancer. So that sort of is what began the journey. And a lot of what we were doing was actually more based out in the UK. And we had the team here helping fulfill delivery for the different businesses we were working with there. So yeah, it and then from doing the work here and just being present in the Philippines, it sort of led to getting more work here in the Philippines. But yeah, I think having the team in the Philippines is great. Like, people here are amazing. I think the work ethic is so different in the Philippines than in the UK, for example. Like, people work incredibly hard here, and like the fact that I'll see some of the team like replying to different partners of ours at like 8 p.m. at night, 10 p.m. at night, sometimes even later. Like, and I'm not asking them to do that. It's just out of their duty. Like, they're going above and beyond, like I said, to make sure the campaign goes live, everything is QA'd, everything's all good. Like, to me in the UK, like, at least I'm not downing the UK, but I noticed when I was there, like 5:30 p.m., everyone's laptop bags are packed and they're out the door. Like, it's before 5:30 and the zip starts and goes in. And people are always going to be like that. To be honest, I was like that before I started the business. I was like, I'm ready to leave. I'm not being paid to be here, so I'm going to go. But I feel like the work ethic, not just in the Philippines, but in Asia, it's just so much more like intense, and there's so much more action, and there's like people are willing to go above and beyond. And I really like that I like how it's so dynamic here. And some people have other views of what the Philippines is like. But I know, like, from being here, like, it's definitely, it's a powerhouse. Yeah.
I'm not sure if you know this Filipino word, but there's actually for me, there's a Filipino word for that. Malasakit.
Malasakit.
Do you know,
yeah, it sounds familiar.
Yeah. I think it's like, and I think this one fits perfectly. The beyond transactions.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I mean, like, malasakit is like, I don't think there's an English word for it, but like doing not just the work, but I really don't know the English, but going beyond and the passion to provide that impact, something like that. So I think by the way, so 2021 you're in the Philippines, right? For the Bambu here in the Philippines, all the clients are Filipino brands, right?
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah.
Okay. So this Filipino team that you have, by the way, how many are they now? Like the team, the company?
Between 20 and 30. I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
And then some of them are like account managers, right? So they have Filipino clients, so they speak Tagalog, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's a factor too. I mean, but don't you find it weird, or I don't know? You're a UK. I mean, well, you're from the UK, although you spent your early childhood here in the Philippines.
Yeah.
But like, why or how do these companies get attracted to Bambu? What I mean is it also a factor like that the team is Filipino? I mean,
I don't know about that. I mean, I think having just a solid team who's trained well, who follows the processes, who knows their stuff when it comes to marketing. I think that's why someone would come and work with us. Typically, like I said before, most of the businesses we work with come from referrals. Like, we don't have like a heavy marketing team, a heavy sales team. cold calling people and doing the outreach and stuff like that.
But that's quite ironic because as a marketing,
Yeah, I know. Well, someone once told me that.
But I think
companies or like marketing agencies,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
consultancies are the worst at doing their own marketing, which is kind of true because you're so focused on your
clients,
partners and clients. Yeah, you're just so focused on that it's always so secondary. And that's one of the things we do. We just always historically have put our partners first.
Yeah, but the referrals speak for the referrals. I mean, the best marketing is a good product or a good service. So the referrals actually tell that it's your marketing already.
Yeah.
You're good. You're good performance, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely. I think it's really important to have the team in the Philippines. And one of the most rewarding things that I heard the other week, someone was resigning and they ended up actually pulling their resignation. But they said to me that they wouldn't have learned as much as they had learned if they hadn't worked at Bambu. And I think for me, that's like, it's not mentioned in our vision or in our core focus and all that stuff, but I find that to be one of the most rewarding things about doing this business is like, we hire a lot of people straight out of university. We give jobs to a lot of interns, and we have a really high rate of intern turning into a full-time employee. And for me, it's like, it's really nice to see that like what we're doing is actually like giving people this knowledge transfer and this knowledge gain. And that to me is like the biggest win, bigger than a client win for all honesty. Yeah.
And it's actually adding knowledge and expertise to the Filipino.
Yeah, that's like super important. It's also helping put, the team at a level where, we work with clients overseas as well. I have no qualms putting some of the team on calls with like really direct, intense Singaporeans. And they handle it really well. And same with Americans and different cultures where they're a lot more direct than they are here. And it really does make me proud to see like the guys really flourishing and doing a good job. And yeah.
Now I think there's a smooth spot there, and I think you hit it because in what I noticed, first, this is an agency type, right? Like for example, you have a new partner. You will assign a small team to be. Does that work like that? Is it like, for example, you get a new Filipino company as a partner, then you assign you help them.
Yeah.
But I see two sides of the spectrum here. Number one, for example, firstly, Bambu is now 30 people. It can be just you get a new partner, you throw your people, you go, you solve that. But there's also another side that wherein mentorship will be too slow because you have to train first your people, and then when they're ready, they manage the client. But there can be a mix, a sweet spot in between where they work and get mentored along with the work. So how do you do that? Especially that Bambu is now 30 people. So maybe you form teams. There's like a senior, then junior, then they do the work. Does it work like that?
I think, the only way to really do it is you have to have teams in place with managers so that they can mentor juniors. I tried doing as much as that as I possibly could, but the reality is I would spend all my day on an internal call and I wouldn't be able to get anything done. That said, like there is still training that happens for the whole company, which I like to lead as well. But there is definitely like mentoring that happens, especially like with key managers and key departments as well. And then the expectation is for them to transfer that down as well. Yeah, everything starts from the top and then it will be filtered down for sure. Otherwise, you have what we had before, which was a completely flat structure. And it's really hard to communicate, like do mentorship to everyone individually. And I think that's one of the things I liked about being a smaller business, to be honest. We still are a small business, but like, having 5 people versus 30, it's a big difference. So I think that's like the one thing that I kind of do miss is being able to do a lot more mentoring one-on-one. But that said, like, we still do our one-on-ones regularly with our team leaders. I think that's the most important thing. And also like being able to talk openly So like if we have a department meeting, it's like, what issues came up? Let's talk about this. Let's not sweep anything under the rug. And then that's an opportunity for coaching and mentoring and that sort of thing.
Yeah. We're actually an hour already, so let's start to wrap this up. But just to
I should have told the team to go on Facebook Live in the Bambu PH chat.
Just to get the picture. For example, there's a company, there's a business, a Filipino business who want to get your services. So what's the picture for them? Like they call Bamboo or something, and then you make a proposal, and then like what's the picture for them? And
typically. Sorry to cut you off, but I think what you're gonna say is like the typical process of like how we end up working with
how they actually get help by you. I mean, how you actually do the
fulfill.
Yeah.
So typically what'll happen, some people call, some people come through the website. Very few go through like Facebook and channels like that, but typically it's website. Maybe someone searches for us in Google, link pops up, they click on it, they submit an inquiry. That's a typical process. Then we always do a call first, just a discovery call, just to understand the business a bit better, understand what they're looking for. It follows like a pretty standard sales process. There's no pitching. It's just more asking questions. And that's, I think, what's the most important thing in sales is don't go straight to pitching, just ask questions, understand the pain, what they need help with. And then off the back of that, we'd typically put together a proposal and then take them through the proposal, which isn't just like, you wanted this is how much it costs, but it's actually kind of top line strategy of like what we would do and kind of what the timeline looks like, what the roadmap looks like for that.
The timeline is like a year, 2 years?
Yeah, usually it's a year. Most of our partners we work with, it's 12 months.
So it's really not like deliverables, like number of posts, number of blah, blah, blah. It's really like a whole...
Well, that can come into it. Some businesses we work with, it's like they don't care about the number of posts. It's just we want a dedicated team for this.
Yes.
So then they get the dedicated team, and that team's going to churn out on average between this and this many posts. But yeah, it really starts with that discovery call. And then from there, we're able to put together a more comprehensive kind of approach of how we would tackle this. And then we basically put together the solution.
So it's actually like
get onboarded.
Find the problem, find their problem, formulate a strategy, and here's how we execute. That's it.
Because a lot of people come through and they're like, oh, we need social media, and it's like you don't need just posting social media, because you have like very few followers, and you're not going to get much reach just creating content and posting it, to be honest. So you need to do something else, which is like acquire traffic, pay for the traffic, have it come through to your marketplace to get some purchases. Maybe it's the fact that they're not even set up on TikTok Shop yet, and they need to get that set up and going. So yeah, it really depends. But yeah, usually it's the discovery call, and then kind of a strategy call with a proposal and sort of investment related to that. Yeah.
Last two questions, Alex. What's the biggest challenge that you encountered and you overcame, like the whole 5 years of building Bamboo? And next, the biggest milestone that you feel is the best thing you have achieved?
The biggest challenge, man, that's a good one. I think the biggest challenge I've had is like the amount of bureaucracy involved in starting a business.
Oh my God.
Starting a business in the Philippines.
Whenever I interview, non-Filipino born, I always get that, but yeah.
So I think that's number one, like for sure. If it was like Singapore, UK, US, other markets where it's just very straightforward to set up a business, do the paperwork, get it done, it's fine. Here you actually need a team of people to help you. I remember even the first, it was like a while back, but even like payments as well sometimes can be tricky with check collection and things like that. But having to run out and physically send people to do certain things, it can get a bit burdensome. Like it can get tough. But I think that also it's something you just have to deal with. It's part of the environment that you're in. And, unless things change in the near future in terms of streamlining how to set up a business and all that kind of stuff that comes with it, then, that'd be awesome. But for now, like, that's what you sign up for if you're going to do a business in the Philippines, and you have to navigate that. If you can't navigate that, you're going to have a really hard time operating area. So I think that's definitely, I'd say, the biggest challenge, because I just wasn't used to that at all. The bureaucracy. That's definitely something that surprised me, stressed me out.
I hate that it's a challenge. I mean, it's practically useless. I mean, it's practically like a useless challenge. I mean, the Philippines can be a better country with better ease of doing business.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, I think the Philippines ranked 100 and something on.
Very low.
Is it Transparency International? I think it's Transparency International that does the ease of doing business rankings. I think it's them. Anyways, Philippines, I remember when I checked, I think I did a LinkedIn post on this before, it was like 100 and something in the world, below South Sudan, which is a war-torn country. So I was like, how does this make sense?
I think the reason for that, sorry to say that, I mean, it's basically, some people are making money out of that challenge, so they wouldn't let go of their easy money. It's like a business model. Like, I mean, the fact that you need people to do this for you. Yeah. But anyway, the biggest milestone. Overcoming the bureaucracy. Yeah.
Biggest milestone. It's a tough one. There's so many. There's like, I'd say there's like the people side. So like, getting that comment from someone around, giving their kudos, saying, without, like, they're so grateful for having learned so much, and without this employment, they wouldn't have learned as much and gained as much knowledge. Hearing that from the mouth of this person, like, that to me was definitely a milestone, because it like shook me inside a bit of like, wow, this really is making an impact on people's lives positively. So that's, I'd say, for the people. And then the other one would be for the commercial side, like for the clients. I'd say bringing on board some of our biggest enterprise clients this year was definitely something that was a huge win and a huge milestone. I think I mentioned Yamaha before, like that's like a global brand, like that's huge. So I think that was definitely a huge milestone for us, for sure. Along with a few others. I'm not allowed to disclose the name, but like they're definitely
and it's actually kind of
businesses.
Kind of a pride too for the team, for the Filipino team. Like, wow, working with this big brand. It's pride for them.
Even sometimes when I come in the office, I'm like, guys, have you heard of this company? And amazing. Wow. And it's like, all right, cool.
Maybe they I forgot the English term for it. Nag-aagawan pa sila. Like they like different people want to, I mean, because it's a big brand. Oh, I want that. Does it happen? I mean, no.
Well, there's there's a guy that just joined the team. He ran the marathon in Seoul. And I think he wanted to work with some specific sports work, because he's into running, right? So it makes sense to work with a shoe company that makes running shoes. And I think that does drive a bit of like interest as well. So like the bike aficionados, they want to work on Yamaha for sure. So it's like, we try and accommodate that. Like a lot of the team, it really love beauty products, so maybe they can work in the beauty vertical with some beauty brands. So it definitely works out kind of like that. Yeah.
Education is evolving, and so are we. Introducing School Tech by Edfolio, your all-in-one school management solution. Built for schools of all sizes, School Tech bridges the gap between school and learning management. Driven by passion, School Tech makes educational technology accessible, affordable, and easy to use for schools everywhere. With an integrated approach, School Tech simplifies management across different departments and enhances efficiency in operations. School Tech transforms the way schools manage, teach, and learn. School Tech, taking school management solutions to the next level.
Running a business? Make it smarter with Red Circle Global. Streamline operations, boost productivity, and manage everything in one powerful ERP system. Book your free business demo today at redcircleglobal.com, guided by one of our top experts.
Yeah. Actually, one last question, Alex.
Go for
What
it.
is the vision, or so Bamboo is 5 years already. What do you see more, and maybe, a bit personal too. Like, do you see yourself really living here in the Philippines for a longer time? I mean, because the company is here. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely, I'm here for the long term.
okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Do you like Makati? Do you like?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, we're looking out. I know you can't see, but like we're looking out over, see the bay, Alabang,
Oh.
well, Cavite, Alabang, and Lake Laguna. It's a pretty nice view. But yeah, I'm here for the long term. My son was born here.
Ah.
I love this country. Like I'm not going anywhere. I don't plan to. Our goal is really to onboard more enterprise level businesses to Bamboo and build our current partnerships and strengthen them even further. And basically, build this out. I'd love to build this out as one of the best places to work in the Philippines. To be honest, that's like a
I love that.
ambitious goal, but it's something that I've kind of
And
put my focus on.
it's the first time I heard that vision. I mean, it's the first time I hear that vision. Wow, because I mean, usually when I ask startup founders their vision, they think of the company, the product. I mean, how companies see them. But this one is different.
Mm.
Your vision is like how your people see
Yeah.
you, and wow, that's
Yeah.
a breath of
I think
fresh
that's
air.
how you get the best people. And,
Uh,
I think one thing that everyone can do a bit better is work on company culture. And I think that's a big focus for us this year as well, is to work on that and get that dialed in. And yeah, I think a lot of people start businesses just for making money. I do see that it's important. Everyone has bills, right? But I'd say the most rewarding thing is like, yes, sure, bringing results for your clients, but it's the people that you're working with day in and day out and bringing them, the value and the experience.
And on the client side, I mean, I think it would be nice to like Bamboo is the go-to. I'm just thinking, I mean, the go-to for international brands, but then they have a Philippine presence like BYD Philippines, Yamaha Philippines. So I think it's very nice that Bamboo can be the go-to growth marketing company for that. I really just want to ask this, Alex. What keeps you motivated?
What keeps me motivated? Being able to make payroll. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I think it's really I think it's just what gets me out of bed and showing up. It's like this accountability that I have. I feel like I owe it to the brands that work with us to make sure that they're getting they're getting the best results they can possibly get, and the best partnership. I think that's really what kind of gets me out. Because if I don't deliver, it kind of makes me look a bit silly, makes the company look a bit silly. So I think that's like a massive factor, for sure. Yeah, sorry, it's a really hard question to answer. But there's like this accountability feeling that I have.
Okay.
And I think like I'm very client focused, very obsessed with the partners we work with. But besides that, I have a lovely wife and a 3-year-old as well. So of course they need good looking after. So I have to show up every day for them as well.
Yep.
And the team. So
Yeah. Very final question. What's your favorite Filipino food?
That's a good question. It's a very good question. So I'm like a huge soup guy. Sounds
Soup?
kind of random, but in terms of soup, like it sounds really weird. I make really good soup. That's
Okay.
like
What soup? I mean,
I make a really good Russian soup called borscht.
oh, okay.
I make really good chicken soup. But in terms of Filipino food, I really like tinola,
Tinola.
which is quite basic. But like if I'm sick, I always go with the tinola.
Really with with papaya. I mean with
papaya and malunggay that you put in there.
yeah.
And then I like sinigang as well.
Oh my god, favorite.
But like the fish head in the
No, sorry.
Yeah.
I mean I like the pork. Baboy.
pork sinigang, nice. Yeah, no. So I like the pork, and bulalo as well is really good.
Bulalo. In Tagaytay.
Yeah, I know
okay.
Tagaytay. Yeah. Bulalo there is good. What else? Yeah, I'd say that's like, I don't know, I'm like kind of obsessed with soup. I tried eating manam today. But
Manam,
they were
yeah,
like-
yeah. Sisig
they were
or what?
closed. Sisig's
Or
good.
there's other sinigang watermelon.
I like their like what is it? It's their pusit, the baby squid.
Ah, yeah, they have the baby
So
squid.
good.
Yeah.
So so good. But yeah, it's Filipino food is really good. I think it's really underrated as well.
Oh, really?
Filipino food. People like I grew up eating like chicken adobo and
It's-
I grew up eating a lot of Filipino food, but people outside the Philippines, they come here and there's this sort of preconception. There's two preconceptions that people have. Number one is they think that the Philippines is really dangerous. And my business partner used to say this as well. And a lot of people would be told, like, be careful, Philippines is really dangerous. Like, Manila has a really high homicide rate.
I
Be
think
careful.
Manila, no, not really.
But
I mean,
I find I feel more safe here than I do walking around London,
really?
where everyone gets their phone snatched out their hand. Yeah.
Oh.
So there's that. And then people have this thing in their mind about food here is really bad. But actually, like, my parents had been coming here since the 80s. And yes, when they were coming here in the 80s and 90s, the food options weren't the best. But now it's like next level. Like, the restaurants here are amazing. Like, food quality is great. Like, even Filipino food itself is really tasty. And there's so much variety as well. But people from outside the Philippines don't realize that. And there's these kind of like stereotypes that they feel comfortable diverting to, but just need to get them out here, get them to experience the real deal.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Alex, for this conversation.
No
If
worries.
our listeners want to know more about you or Bamboo, so how can they? Maybe you can lead them to the website or
Yeah, anyone can just go to bambu.com.ph and then submit an inquiry there. What? That's bambu.com.ph.
BAMBU.
Yeah, BAMBU. We were a bit cool and did a
Oh wait,
Little
so
U on the
you really chose the bamboo, like the bamboo plant for
yeah.
it?
Yeah, so
Ah.
it was around because bamboo grows all over Asia.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
have a presence here. And it's the fastest growing plant on earth. And that's what we do with companies. We help them grow quickly.
And also, Filipinos are being compared to bamboo always because when it rains, the bamboo does not break; it only bends.
Yeah,
so it's
yeah,
like the
yeah.
Filipino resiliency.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. I actually like that a lot. Yeah, it's good.
There's actually a famous book, "Bamboo in the Wind," because it's like a symbol for Filipino.
Okay.
Because bamboos, even if there are typhoons, storms, whatever, bamboos do not break.
They're
They
flexible.
just yeah.
Yeah. That's good. There's also a rapper or a singer or
Yeah.
he rap? Is he a
Singer.
I think
I
he's
think
a
not
singer.
rap. I think he doesn't
he's
rap.
a singer. Yeah. He's
Yeah,
a singer.
like a
Sorry,
rock,
he's a-
like rock, Filipino rock.
There's a hip hop group called Bamboo, I think, but in the US. And then here there's a guy. He actually
Yeah.
performed at one of the Yamaha events that we covered. It was quite funny.
I mean, he's very famous in the
Yeah,
Philippines.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's actually two bamboo. There's another rapper. There's
I
a
think there's a rap.
Bambu de Pistola. That's different.
Okay, okay.
I think he's also based in the US now. He's
Yeah.
a rapper. But there's Bamboo. The Bambu de Pistola is spelled same as Bamboo. BAMBU. If I'm correct.
Yeah.
But Bamboo, the singer, the one from he sings. He's very famous. So,
Yeah. He played at this Yamaha event. He
Oh.
was pretty good. But yeah, that's kind of how the name came. And then my business partner at the time was like, let's not make it OO, let's make it you, because it's going to be more unique and memorable. I was like, okay, sounds good. So yeah, we did that.
Yeah, so go to bamboo.com.ph, bambu.com.ph.
Yeah, and you can book a call if you want to have a chat, or I think my number's on there as well. So yeah, call anytime. Yeah, we offer these free growth X-rays as well. So
Free growth X-ray.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're going to be at, I think, Retail Logica on the 24th of June, if I'm not mistaken. And we're doing
Event? Sorry, is it
an
a-
event.
okay.
Yeah, here. It's a retail event, and then we're doing a keynote presentation, and we're going to have a stall there as well, and be maybe wearing doctor's outfits, offering these growth X-rays. We'll be there.
That's interesting, growth X-ray. Now I'm
Yeah.
curious. So for anyone who's curious about a growth X-ray, try a discovery call.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you very much, Alex, for
Yeah,
this
thanks,
conversation. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Awesome.
Thank you very much to our 65 patrons. This episode is super powered by AskLexPH Academy, our official e-learning partner. Get certifications on Lean Six Sigma project management, data science, and more. Cloud CFO. Cloud CFO provides expert accounting, tax, and payroll services for SMEs and startups using smart technology to deliver actionable financial insights. Architect Space Solutions. Architect provides ground station services, space data analytics, and technology supplies to grow the Philippines' role in the global space ecosystem. Divico Technologies Incorporated, IT solutions specializing in software development, blockchain, smart contracts, digital wallets, and cybersecurity. Argam AI makes smarter decisions by representing both sides of an issue as argued by two distinct AI models. Pixel by Implement. Turn content into opportunities, grow deeper connections, and earn more only with Pixel. Sign up at pixel.implement.co. School of Profits, Filipino-led community for aspiring freelancers, VAs, agency builders, and online earners, built to help you start, grow, and earn online together. Founders Launchpad, our ecosystem partner, early stage accelerator providing venture capital funding, operational support, and mentorship. Hire Business Solutions, providing the most configurable cloud-based payroll system in the Philippines. Agile Data Solutions, the Philippines' fastest-growing market insights tech company with its data gathering platform, HustlePH. Smile Checks, streamline hiring and onboarding with automated background checks. Cloverly, all-in-one digital platform for property developers. Body BDs, accessible and personalized diabetes self-management application. Hyperstocks, digital banking enabler for rural and thrift banks. Wonder Brand, data science-driven brand strategy and design for emerging markets. This episode is powered by Josie AI, Uplift Code Camp, Board Prep, Kenzin Bordy, Eastpoint Business Outsourcing Services, Filipina Home-Based Moms, Hex Colony, Jure.ph, Big Giant Games, Patid PH, Sugbudok, Algacon Aquafeeds Juan Alj, Quay Wolf Technologies Philippines, Pareto Consulting, Sears MD. Support the podcast through the links in the description.